Happy Thursday! It is August the 13th today. Shout out, happy birthday to my granddaughter. It's Lydia's 1-year birthday today. So Lydia's 1. But anyways, today's live is all about how the market is doing here in our area. So again, these are stats for the greater Kansas City area of Kansas and Missouri. And these all come from our Heartland MLS and KCRER, which is the Kansas City Regional Association of Realtors. So if you're watching from another area, your area may be completely different. And then, of course, the greater Kansas City covers a huge, broad area. And so we can get stats for particular cities and neighborhoods and zip codes and things. So if that's something that interests you and you need some more information, reach out. Happy to help. I can easily get that for you. But this is just a big general overview for all of us here in Kansas City so that we kind of know what's happening here. Now, we are in the Midwest. We're literally right smack dab in the middle of the country. And so a lot of times what happens on the East Coast can be kind of volatile and totally different and may start to trickle inward somewhat. But we're so buffered here in the middle that we don't always match what's happening on the coasts and in other places. So keep that in mind again if you're not from this area, okay? But anyways, these are the latest stats and updates we just got from last month for July. So these just came in 2 or 3 days ago, earlier this week. So these are fresh, hot numbers coming at you. So the amount of homes sold, I always leave the number from the month prior and change it live so you can see it. The amount of homes sold in June was 4,026. The amount in July was 3,886. So 3,886. So we sold as an area about 200 homes less than the month prior. So 3,886. That's how many properties sold here in Kansas City in the entire month of July. So a little down, right? And then now when we start hitting late July, August, we see a schlump. I don't know if schlump's a word, but I use the word schlump. We always see a schlump because of school starting. Families are trying to take their last vacations, get their school supplies, school clothes. There's just a lot going on. A lot of kids these days start practices 2, 3, 4 weeks before school starts. You meet the teacher nights, on and on it goes. People are very busy. And so most of the time you're going to be very busy in spring and early summer. Now that we're past that and we're in late summer, almost ready for school to start, we just see sales drop. We see things kind of slow down. Don't be disheartened. Don't be discouraged. We usually see it pick up right back up again here in about mid-September. So here in about another month, we should see activity spark and pick back up again. And that's due to families are getting settled. They're getting used to their new routines. But it is kind of schlumpy right now. It is, I'm not going to lie. Average sales price, what's interesting to me is this has gone down. So that speaks volumes to me, right? I would say that is one point that points towards it being more of a buyer's market. And I have some other stats I'll tell you as well. So last month, the average sales price was $410, $448. In July, it was $406, $907. So almost $407. But about $406,000. So we dropped about $3,500-ish in sales price. So that's kind of interesting to me. And I think another number I'll factor in is the percentage of sales price received versus what it was a month ago. So last month it was almost 99% of what sellers were asking they were getting. Now we're down to almost 98%. So not a huge drop, but it is a drop. It is in the favor of buyers, I would say right now. So 98.1% on average is what sellers are getting of their listing price, right? So if they have their home listed at $100,000 in this market right now, the average would be that they would sell it for $98,100, just to kind of put it into a number for you. So that also indicates, because that number has gone down, that percentage has gone down, that buyers are getting a little more favor, right? Things are kind of swaying in their way, and they have a little more leverage right now. The month of inventory, so the amount of supply has even gone up. So last month and the month prior stayed exactly at 2.4. This month, the supply has actually gone up a tad. It's actually gone up to 2.6 months supply. So again, that's another indicator we look at to determine whether it's a buyer's market or seller's market. So since that number is increasing, that also shows favor towards buyers. So I would say definitely some stats swayed this month into buyers' favor. The other stat is the days on market. This stayed exactly the same as last month. The average days on market, again, for all of greater Kansas City area is 36 days on market. So that means when something goes on the market, that's how long it takes to get under contract. We're not seeing it sell in a day or two like we saw, 5 years ago, but they're sitting maybe just a little bit. And of course, remember, that's an average. So some are sitting longer, some are sitting less. It's just, you want to make sure, since this number of inventory has gone up, buyers have choices. Buyers can be a little more choosy, and buyers are going to have some leverage as far as negotiating with you. So if you want your house to be less than 36 days on market, you want it to be one of the first ones that sell compared to your competition, look at your competition. Make sure your home is priced slightly better than theirs, that your home shows better than theirs, that your home smells better, feels better, just all the things. So that way, when they're going and looking and comparing, yours will be one of the first ones to sell when it hits the market. So super important. Not bad news for sellers. I just think sellers need to be a little more realistic on their prices. Don't overinflate them, and maybe have a little bit of patience on the market. Things are not flying off, and I think it's still going to stay and be a little schlumpy for the next month or so, because typically mid-September we see it pick back up again. It is not doom and gloom where now you won't sell till spring. That's completely false. We get super, super, super busy all fall. The rest of the year we'll be super busy once we hit mid-September. So there's hope. There's hope. Do not give up. But if you have questions about your area, you're curious what's happening around you, let me know. Interest rates are still, it depends on what kind of loan and your credit score and all the things. But I would say mid to high sixes is kind of the average I'm seeing for people. But again, there's a lot of factors that go into that. Remember, you do not have to have 20% down to get a loan. And also, you can get sellers to help buy down your interest rate or pay closing costs. There's so many different scenarios and options that if you're thinking about buying or selling, of course, reach out. We'll help you come up with a strategy that will work best for you. And if you have questions, let us know. Y'all have a great day.